Hello, everyone. This is Stacy. Welcome to The Landing. Today on The Landing, we are welcoming someone whose roots run deep in the strong traditions of Down East. From her earliest days, napping on her grandmother's freezer, she's been marinated in the flavors, stories, and love that come from sharing food and gathering around the table. With a lifetime spent in the food industry, she is more than just a cook. She's a keeper of heritage, a champion of family, and a voice for the kind of homegrown hospitality that never goes out of style. Get ready to hear her journey, shaped by hands-on experience, the wisdom of generations, and a heart full of Down East pride. Let's welcome our guest, my friend, Paula Willis, to The Landing. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Landing. We have a wonderful guest here with us today, someone who I don't remember not being a part of my life, and she left us for a little while, but she's back home now, and so we're very glad about that. Before we go any further, if you will, introduce yourself. Tell us your name, who's your crowd, and where you're from.
My name is Paula Willis. I was not originally born a Willis. My clan, I guess as you call them, would be the Hancocks, and we were known as the Front Road Hancocks, not the Back Road Hancocks. So it would be Leroy and Leonda Hancock. My grandfather was born on Shackleford Banks, and my grandmother Leonda Gaskell was from Stacy. So I'm originally from Harkers Island. I did move off after college. I got a teaching job in Charlotte, taught there for 31 years, and moved back. And happy to be home.
Happy to be home. You've been home now how long? How many
I think
years?
this might be my third summer home.
Oh, wow. I know I was so excited when our paths crossed. I didn't know you had moved back home. I think it was summer before last. And I was like, Paula, you're back. You're back. She's back. Okay, so we have a lot to talk about, and I will go ahead and warn the listeners because you and I both have this in common. No telling where we'll go. We might get sidetracked, but I promise you it'll be worth hearing. So I will get us started with a simple little question because this name that I'm going to throw out there has come up in several different interviews with lots of different folks, especially folks that grew up around Harkers Island. And that is the Seahorse Restaurant. Now, I have a feeling that you know just a little bit about the Seahorse Restaurant. And if you will, let our listeners know what your connection is. And then, of course, I want you to share a little bit.
Okay. Well, it started out, my grandfather owned a gas station, and my aunt and uncle owned the restaurant. And then they switched, and it was a grocery store at one time and a gas station with pumps and a full 4-car garage.
Wow.
Thomas Lee was working on cars back there. And then we sold the gas station part, and they moved it down the island and turned it into the Island Restaurant. Do you remember that?
I remember the Island Restaurant.
And that started back there. That started from Grandma's, was a little gas station part, the little shed that they moved. And then we opened up the full out Seahorse Restaurant, as it was known.
Yes, and the Seahorse Restaurant, for those of you who don't know, was at the western. It was at the west end of the island. So when you come on the island, just a little ways past what Seaside is now, but it was on the right.
Correct. There's like 3 hotel rooms or 3 rooms that they rent out or something like that now. Yes.
Yeah,
so I passed by. I still love that building.
I love that building.
It's an amazing building.
And it's always will be Seahorse.
It sure will.
So tell us a little bit more about it. So the Seahorse Restaurant was born.
Back in the, I remember the gas war in '79 when Granddaddy got hurt, got injured pumping gas. We had a line all the way down the island. So shortly after that, we turned it into the restaurant. So right in the beginning of the 80s, it started. I can remember going up there. Grandma had this chest freezer, and we'd go up there at 4 o'clock in the morning because she had to cook the grits and make the coleslaw and then get the chowder ready and everything for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I can remember sleeping on the freezer until 6 o'clock because she wanted the fishermen to be able to come in and eat breakfast. So at 6 o'clock, she would say, "Paula, honey, we got to go open the front door." So I go open the front door, and I was taking orders. So I was waiting on tables, way young. And I can remember waiting on tables up until Miss Maddie Brooks would walk across the road to take over my shift so I could get on the bus and go to school.
Wow. Yeah, that was young.
Very young.
Wow, Paula. Good gracious. Oh my goodness. I can taste their shrimp burgers and cheeseburgers. Oh my goodness, it was so good.
And the hamburger steak with the gravy and onions.
With the gravy and onions. Oh my goodness.
And Grandma made all the pies. She cooked. She cooked.
She did it all.
She did it all. Yeah, I don't remember anything being brought in, cooked. We had no pre-cooked anything.
Right, which is why it was so good.
From the coleslaw, I can remember squeezing the water out of the cabbage and the carrots and making handmade everything.
Wow, you were back there doing it all.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. From little all the way up.
Did she let you, well, I'm sure she did. Did she let you help her cook? Did she teach you how?
Oh, absolutely. I cooked all the time. I cut onions. I was cutting cabbage. Me and Vanessa and everybody. Like, I don't know, just endless people that have come in and out of my life from working in the restaurant. Yeah.
Wow.
And the milk pie. The condensed milk pie was.
Condensed milk pie.
I still, it just soothes my heart to eat condensed milk pie.
Yeah.
Still does.
Do you still cook using those recipes?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Every opportunity we get, I've taught my roommate Lacey. I've taught her a lot too. She even has one of the church cookbooks that she still turns back to all the time just to make stuff.
Yeah. Now, was your grandma one of the types of cooks that had measured stuff, or is she one like mine who just knew, like she just threw it in?
No, there was no measuring cup. And it was what you put in that. A dash is a little bit, just a little bit, like Grandma was a little bit. She would say a nicket.
A nicket.
A nicket. That was a very, very tiny amount. Was a nicket.
I love that. Oh my goodness. What was your favorite food that she cooked?
Shepherd's pie.
Ooh, good.
Still today. There's nothing like a good shepherd's pie.
Them cream
and banana pudding.
Banana pudding. Oh my gosh. Okay. So take us through we were talking a little bit before we started recording about Miss Parker. So tell us a little bit about that, because that was a pretty interesting story. You were about 2, you said.
Yes. Miss Audrey Parker, Linwood Parker's wife, who owned Parker Boats eventually. She taught kindergarten, and I think my cousin Vaughn went to kindergarten there. And my grandma opened scallops, where all the women on the island opened scallops during the day and stuff. So she would pass by her house to walk to the scallop house, which was just across the road from the post office. And she stopped by there and asked Miss Audrey if she could drop me off there. And Miss Audrey says, well, she's only 2. And so Grandma said, well, what does she need to do? And Miss Audrey said, well, if she can say her ABCs, we'll take her. So we quickly learned my ABCs, and I started kindergarten at 2 years old. And going to church, when the church would have the graduation for a little celebration for the graduates every year, Clayton Guthrie would say, here comes Paula again.
So you graduated
all the way up through high school.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh wow.
All of my kindergarten years, and yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's so fun. So you were with your grandma a lot.
I was with my grandmother always. Always.
Oh, I can see her. What a special little lady. Now, how long did they have Seahorse?
I believe she sold it. My grandfather had diabetes really bad, and he passed away in 1983. And she sold it shortly after that to some people from off the island. And you know how people are around here. They don't take too kindly to people from off.
Yeah.
So then she sold it to, I think the Guthries bought it out.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And that's
okay.
when they opened up Seaside.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So that was after that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, when I was a teenager, I worked a lot with your mama. And I worked at Calico Jack's with your mama. And I worked again at Rosa's Seafood with your mama.
Mm-hmm.
And I love your mama.
I appreciate that.
Oh, my goodness.
She was a hard worker, too.
She was a hard worker, too. That's exactly right. I know you probably did, but can you tell us a little bit? Did you work with your mom a lot?
I did. I worked with my mom a lot. After we closed after Grandma sold the Seahorse, Grandma started working at Mike's restaurant in Beaufort.
Yeah.
And then Mom started working at the Beaufort House restaurant for the Barneses. And then Grandma eventually started working for the Barneses. And I went and got a job at the Charter. Remember the Charter restaurant in Morehead City?
So good.
Man, we were right over the top of the water. And I can remember when the tide would come in, I would be back there in the steam room, waist deep, trying to work steam oysters and open clams and scallops in that steam room. And the tide was at my hips. And when I get home from work, Grandma would say, "You got to take your clothes off in the yard."
Are you serious? It would come in that high?
Yeah, it would come in that high, absolutely.
Oh,
and that's why they wouldn't let them rebuild, because it was over the waterfront. So when it got too bad, they shut them down. And I think that's where they have like the Big Rock stuff like that now.
Yes.
It's the first facility there on the
But
waterfront.
we would go there. I'm like for special occasions, like proms and things like that. That was a good meal. Oh my goodness.
I worked at the little restaurant on Atlantic Beach back in the day as a bar back. I mean, I wasn't old enough to sell beer or take orders, but I was a person that would run around and go grab the cases of beer and bring them out to the bartender and dump the trash cans. And I did bar backing. So that was like, I was 15.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And then working at 16, I worked at the Beaufort House with my mom and my grandma, and I cooked upstairs. I was a grill cook upstairs.
Were you
And
really?
on Sundays, I would slice the prime rib for the buffet.
Yeah.
Every Sunday, yeah.
Oh my goodness. I worked at the Beaufort House a little bit when I was older.
And then when Captain's Choice opened, do you remember that?
I do.
Miss Fay and I and Michael Walton peeled the plastic off the equipment and opened up that restaurant. And Jonathan Gilligan, we were all there, at the same time.
Really?
Yep.
Oh
I
my
remember
goodness.
that. It was just amazing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Sure did. And then so I worked there up until, I guess I went to college, between there and the Beaufort House. And then my mom opened up Calico Jack's restaurant. And so during college, after college, I come home and would work some weekends or big occasions. My roommate and I would come and wait tables. I didn't cook anymore because Ma and Junior had that under control.
They had it not locked down.
And
Yeah.
Grandma was still out there, and Grandma would say, I gotta go take care of this old lady. And I'm like, Grandma, what old lady? So she would go and she would work 1 or 2 shifts there, and then she would go and spend the night in Atlantic and Stacy and Marshallburg with these old ladies who couldn't be by themselves. So there was never a point of stop.
No.
Not for me. Not for my family.
Not for your family. You was go all the time.
All the time.
And I remember when I worked at Calico Jack's with your mom and Junior. Oh my gosh, some of the stories I could tell.
Oh yeah.
They were there all the time, like open to close.
Yes.
They were there.
Yep. And my brother as well.
Yes. He was there. Yes. And he, bless his heart, he worked a lot too.
He did too, until he got too sick with his diabetes where he couldn't do anything anymore.
Yes. Oh my goodness, we laugh.
Oh yeah.
And she just as well laugh as
Just
to cry.
I mean, I've worked with Natasha and Pam. All of us worked together at the Beaufort House and at Calico Jack's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Memories.
Good memories. I had actually I was teaching at East Carteret, and when your mom went to Rosa's Seafood there in Beaufort,
Okay.
and she was in a pinch trying to get waitresses, and she called me, and I was like, Miss Paulette, I'm teaching. And see, that didn't mean anything to her because she
No.
did.
You're teaching, okay. Well, what time are you doing
What-
teaching?
what-
You've
that's
been here
exactly
15
right.
minutes.
That's
What's the
exactly-
problem?
What time do you want your shift to start? Like, what are you talking about?
That's my mom.
Yeah.
There was
And-
never a stop.
And there wasn't saying no to her because I loved her so good. And so I was like, okay. And so I did that for a while.
Yeah,
and
my brother cooked there too
he
for a little
did.
while.
He did. Yes, he sure did.
Then he went off to Outer Island, I believe, and worked there for a little while too. So
When you think about traditions and you think about food and feeding folks, you've been around it all your life and lots of different types of restaurants. How would you explain it? Because, we're different around here a little bit. Because it's more than just food is I guess what I'm trying to get at. How do you explain it?
food is is a gathering point. It's a safe place for everybody. It's not anything out of sort or out of kilter. It's a welcoming. Even when I was little, Grandma would cook for all the preachers and their wives from the church. I mean, Sunday we would have 15, 20 people.
Yeah, because she lived right there.
She lived right there beside the church, and we, she'd go to church. She'd get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and start cooking. And in that little itty bitty kitchen, she would cook for 10 or 12 people. I mean, we would have chicken and rice and stewed beef and collards and mashed potatoes and sweet potato casserole. And there was always 2 or 3 different desserts.
Wow. And she cooked it.
And we put the white tablecloth on that table, and we'd have people piled up, and the kids would eat in the living room, and the adults would eat around the table. And it was always a welcome, and it's soothing. And I still find myself where, we have like gatherings at the house. We do a St. Patrick's Day thing, and I call it coming out of hibernation.
Right.
Because, it's kind of like the winter's over, we've made it.
Yes.
And so I get together, friends, and it's like Lacey says the other day, she's like, how many people have you invited? I said, there's 75 people. And she cooked for 75 people, and when we've had to like rearrange how everything gets put nowadays, and so
Wow.
I don't,
But that's normal
it's
for
normal, normal for us. Yes, absolutely.
you. I mean, I could have stopped in to your grandma's and she'd have welcomed me.
Oh,
She wouldn't have
absolutely.
said, "What are you doing
No,
here?" She said,
never.
"Grab your plate."
Never a stranger.
Yeah. Yep. Oh my goodness.
I don't meet any strangers. I try to tell them stories and find a common ground.
Right. And which is something that more people need to do because
Everybody's got to eat, so
Yeah.
you just as well have a common ground there.
yeah, that's right. Oh, that's so true. So let's depart food just a little bit. And I wanted to hear a little bit about the horses over at Shackelford. You have mentioned to me that you remembered the horse penning and doing all that.
Yes,
See,
so
I
on-
don't. So tell
On
me a little
4th
bit.
of July every year, people who had motorcycles would get on their 4-wheelers or 2-wheelers or whatever they had. And some people would start on the Cape side, and some people would start on the Beaufort side. And we would just gather, kind of like you were out searching for people. You know how you make a search line and you just cover the whole Shackelford banks and round up all the ponies.
So you're walking
All
towards each
walking
other.
towards each other. I think this horse pen is still there, where you can still see building part of it. And we would gather up all the horses, and whatever new ponies we had would get branded. And people would always, every family would be in their sections. And
So
we'd
certain
have food.
families
Yeah.
owned.
Yeah, certain families owned horses.
Okay.
And we brand your horses, but everybody worked together. Whether you had horses or not, you were out there. It was kind of like a community, kind of like it was something I looked forward to.
Yeah. And you mentioned you had brought food. And
Everybody brought food. Oh my goodness, the fried chicken and potato salad. There was nothing like eating at the Cape.
Oh, no.
A bologna sandwich at the Cape was like prime rib right now.
Yeah, that's right. That's the truth. That's true.
We call that Harker's Island prime rib, that bologna sandwich.
That bologna sandwich. Oh, my, and if you get it fried, then that's extra special.
Oh, yeah.
So you would do that. Now, you couldn't have been very old.
No. And I can remember grabbing the green wax rope and jumping on the back of the horses and ride them until they calmed down. And I can remember the sting of that rope on my hands would just, it was just like almost make it bleed, but it could just so it wouldn't bleed.
But it would burn.
It would burn. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like a rope, like a really bad rope burn.
And you would ride on bareback.
Oh, yeah. We didn't have any saddles. I didn't see a saddle till I was like,
Gosh.
I don't know, college. I'm like, what is that?
Oh my
So
gosh.
I did some horseback riding. Some friends had some horses down in Cedar Island, and I think that was my first experience riding on a saddle.
Mm-hmm.
I was way older.
Yeah. Wow.
I couldn't stay on the thing. It was too slick.
That's funny. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's amazing. I've heard about the pinnings, but I never got to see it.
Well, that was it. I mean, we had houses over there.
Mm-hmm. At that time, yeah.
And,
yeah.
Grandma would close the restaurant, and we had a day off. And so we would leave after she shut down the restaurant and head over to the Outer Banks and spend the night there and spend a couple of nights there. And we had that well pump outside, and we pumped the water.
Coldest water
ever. And we had mosquito nets inside because you couldn't sleep because
you
all you
hear
could
'em.
hear was
That's
mosquitoes.
That's a truth.
And I remember the old mosquito pump that you had with the
Yes.
long handle. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was, I'm sure, real good to inhale.
Oh, by the time you pumped
Yeah.
that water and you pumped that mosquito spray, it was time to go to bed. You slept.
Yeah, that's right.
But it was nothing like that breeze. I mean,
Oh.
that was a good breeze.
That was some good sleep.
That's some good food.
And some good food. Yes.
Because we go clamming. We get our own clams and scallops. They were plentiful back then.
Yep. Go pick them up.
Pick them up, bring them, put them in the pot. Like, what'd you bring? Where'd you go? Well, I caught these fish. You take that net out there and just walk toward each other and net a couple of fish.
We took a lot for granted, didn't we?
We did.
Thought that was what everybody did.
And my aunt lived across the road, Cecil's grandma. What was her name? Do you remember her name? Nellie.
Nellie. Yes.
Nellie ate 10 fish every day of her life.
Really?
Every day.
Are you serious?
If she missed a day, I don't know it.
Wow. Would she fry it?
She fried pinfish, yeah.
Fried pinfish.
Yep.
Wow. So she had a supplier, I guess.
Well, Eugene would go out there and
Eugene
get them.
go
Yeah.
get 'em,
Mhm.
yeah.
Clams and pinfish, and I mean they didn't care. I mean, Anne, she loved the hogfish. I mean, they ate everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think I remember this hogfish being on the menu at the Seahorse.
Hogfish always.
Yeah.
Flounder.
Yeah.
And then the guys would go out gigging flounder, and Grandma would buy it off of them. Steve and all that crowd, fishermen, whatever they would catch, they'd bring her some, and they wouldn't sell it to her. They say, "Hey, Miss Leonda, here's some bluefish, here's some flounder," and Grandma would either fry it or she'd stew that flounder, and there's some stewed flounder with some good stuff back in the day.
Good stuff, potatoes and onions.
But the best thing I remember growing up would be the stewed hard crabs.
Oh yes.
And I eat them with my hands. I would sit there, and the juice, the gravy would just run down your elbows, and you like lick your elbows and just keep right on eating.
And keep right on eating. That's
Grab the
good
potatoes
stuff.
by your hands.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, why dirty your fork?
No, I didn't even know we had silverware. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's the truth. Oh my goodness. So good. The menu actually, I'm sure, would be situated every day, like with what she had on hand, as well as, of course, the staples.
Yes,
but
the staples. And the scallops, she buy them straight from the scallop house or the fish house. And growing up, I remember going down and sorting fish off the boat that would come in. We'd stand there and just sort the fish.
Oh, you talk about fresh.
Fresh, yes. And I remember sitting in the back of the truck, heading shrimp.
Oh my goodness. That had just been caught.
That had just been caught,
from our
brought in
waters.
on the ice. Head to shrimp, ready to go. Yeah, so I bet I headed and peeled shrimp when I was like 7 or 8 years old.
Oh my goodness gracious. If you had to think back and you had to tell somebody about the best memories that you had around food and people, like what time of year would it be for you? I'm curious.
You got seasonal foods, you got your wintertime, your comfort foods, your chicken and dumplings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You got your summer foods where you want something light. You need a salad, or you need some avocado shrimp salad, or something really like tuna salad. I wouldn't even know where to start. All I know is food is seasonal. You don't eat a lot of soups in the summertime. You save all the homemade soups for the winter and make it and freeze it, and that way you have some anytime you need it.
And I'm glad you answered it that way, because that's one thing around here. We definitely notice the seasons because our tables changed. And
Yes.
and that's not everybody can say that.
Mm.
So let me throw out like summer. What comes to mind when you think about summer?
Summer would be an oyster roast
My
or
favorite.
some grilled mullets or some grilled bluefish or I guess right now they're catching bonitas and wahoo and stuff like that. So, gathering, having fish fry,
Yes. Oh,
getting people together for a nice oyster roast and a fish fry.
oh my goodness. All right. How about in the fall?
In the fall, in the cold. It gets cold here, but it doesn't get really cold.
Thank goodness.
So, that's your hamburger steak night, your shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's pie.
Comfort foods. Your chicken dumplings for everybody or the stewed chicken and rice.
Oh, stewed chicken and rice.
Yeah, with the dumplings.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Cornbread
yes,
dumplings
cornbread dumplings. With you could see the fingerprints.
Yes,
in
you
'em.
could. Yes, you could.
Oh, yes, I can see them.
They didn't come in a can.
No, not at all. Okay, and so that would bring us around to winter. So what would we do in the winter? We would do pretty much the same kind of stuff. And I remember chili too. Grandma would make
A lot of chili. A lot of chili, a lot of goulash.
Goulash.
A lot of spaghetti. Mom would make spaghetti. And I can remember spaghetti. I'd walk in the door and the spaghetti, you can smell it in the yard. You get off the bus, you can smell the garlic and onions.
Yeah, that's true. I remember her doing spaghetti specials at the restaurants, and it was so
She
good.
cooked everything in the spaghetti sauce. It wasn't just like a marinara. It was she had the garlic and the onions and the green peppers and everything was just cooking.
Yeah, and it was like you said, that smell.
The smell.
Oh yeah, and of course stewed crabs, stewed hard crabs. Love them. And then that brings us around into spring. What is something that when winter is finally over, springtime, what's a food that you enjoy?
I guess that would be like your clam chowders and stuff like that. You're kind of getting back into the salty air.
Yeah.
Kind of getting the season to come in.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
So good. I remember there was one thing that your mom cooked that I had never seen done that way before. And she's like, don't you dare make fun of me until you try it. But it was a fried hard crab.
Fried hard crabs, yes. Yeah, and a lot of people like them fried now.
It was really good. It was really good. But yeah, why not?
Why not?
Yeah. But that was good stuff. Well, our time has flown by. Oh, man. Is there anything, though, I mean, we still got a little bit. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you would like to?
No. I mean, I love being around food. I've been around food all my life. I'm working at the Fish Hook. I love being there.
Yeah, that's where I saw you, actually.
Food there is excellent. I love it.
is.
I love, I'm actually, I guess, more of the bartender. And I like that because I get to talk to people. We talk about everything in the world. We talk about all the fish that they caught. I had a guy the other day come in. He had a 11.4 ounce bluefish.
Oh, wow.
And he was excited, and I like being around that. I know Miss Heather, she only buys the local seafood, so she represents the local people. So, I can attest to the fact that we're not going to be selling stuff that's not good stuff. I mean, she gets her seafood locally, and if it's not a commercial fisher, she can't get it. So, like back in the day, Grandma could buy flounder or whatever from anybody, but now you can't. It has to be a commercial fisher license before you can buy it from them. But she keeps the fresh fish on.
Yeah.
Blues are running right now. We had red drum the other night. We had black drum the other day, and
Yum. Yeah, good stuff.
if she gets wahoo, we have like wahoo bites and stuff. But I like working there because I can still talk to the people.
Yeah.
And I can still give these tourists. They come. They're like, we went over and saw some horses. I'm like, yeah, you didn't just see some horses. You saw the Spanish Mustangs. And I go back and tell them the stories about having houses over there and growing up over there. And so I give a little bit of history so that they didn't just go see the horses.
I love that. I love that so much. Well, I have enjoyed this tremendously, and I'm very glad that you're back home.
Well, thank you. It's great to be back. I retired from teaching, and I said, I can go live anywhere I want to in this world.
Yep.
Where am I going to go? So I took a 2-week vacation to Maui and decided I just want to come home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Here I am.
And here you are. And real quickly, I remember you said you came here and you didn't work. You were retired for how long?
2 weeks. 2 weeks. And I thought I was going to lose my mind. I mean, there's only so much TV you can watch or so much grass you can cut in those 2 weeks. And so Miss Heather posted that she was looking for a bartender. And I said, I got to go.
And now you're working there at Fish Hook. You're umpiring. And you're substitute teaching.
Yep. I try to stay busy and, with friends and gathering friends and cooking at the house and doing this and that and whatever else I can find to do, I'm going to do. Because, I stay busy in Charlotte, too. I work for a Greek restaurant. So I have 15 years of Greek food.
Oh, wow.
I learned to speak a little Greek,
Wow.
Mainly you learn the bad things first, but you do learn.
You do learn
and
others,
the foods
too.
are great, I like it.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So you can definitely say that food is a part of who you are.
Food is a big part of who I am.
Yeah.
From the get-go.
Yeah. It's in your blood.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And Paula, I love you.
I love you too. I love your family.
Right back at you,
I love your
baby.
family.
Right back at you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us again to The Landing. This podcast is brought to you by the Core Sound Waterfowl Museum and Heritage Center. I am your host, Stacy Davis Basden, and today's podcast was produced by April Davidson. Tune in again next week as we continue remembering, sharing, and learning together. Until then, stay safe and be kind.